Welcome to Smash Exams, IELTS Level 7 in 7 minutes. Today we're going to be looking at varying your sentence structure for the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1. Let's go. As I said in the previous video, here, when we were breaking down the rubric, it's very important to vary your sentence structure. So today we're going to be looking at the 3 key ones in English, which are simple, compound, and complex. If you find value in this video, make sure you like and subscribe below. Let's get started with simple sentences. Simple sentences are great, and they are the building blocks to all the other types of sentences we're going to look at today. Let's break it down into what they are though. The first thing you need to know is that a simple sentence is an independent clause, which means it is a complete thought and it includes one subject and one verb. Let's look at some examples. Adam ate his dinner. The door swung open. Melanie went to the shop. Aidan tried on some new clothes. Now, as you can see, all of these are complete thoughts. They all make sense on their own. And we can see the subjects in the green, Adam, Melanie, Aidan, which are all names, and the door. But anything can be a subject. It doesn't have to be a person or a noun. Also, a verb. We have to have an action in there. So we have ate, swung, went, and tried on. So all of these are very simple sentences with one subject, one verb, and they are a complete thought. Now, some simple sentences will try and confuse you by having compound subjects, such as Melanie and Harvey went to the shop. It's still a simple sentence because it has 2 subjects and a verb. Okay? You could also have compound verbs such as the cat sat and smiled. So 2 action words and 1 subject, or 2 subjects and 1 action word. So it's quite simple. This is a simple sentence and you will need it for very often. Now let's have a look at some examples from the Academic Writing Task 1. The bar chart shows data from the UK. The bar chart being the subject and shows being the verb. Another one, the building was developed in 2010. This would be if you were describing a map. So the subject, the building, the verb, developed. Another one, the percentage went up the following year. The subject being percentage and went up being the verb. India's population has declined. India's population being the subject of the sentence, and declined, meaning going down, is the verb of the sentence. So simple sentences, very easy to do but very important you know what they are. As you'll see as we move on, the simple sentences create the other types of sentences. Let's move on to compounds. Compound sentences are a little bit of a cheat, and they are a great way to vary your sentences in an easy way. A compound sentence is made up of 2 independent clauses, or 2 simple sentences, and they are joined together by a coordinating conjunction. Now, a coordinating conjunction sounds like a very posh word, but it's actually very simple. All you need to do is remember fanboys. Fanboys is an acronym that gives you all of the coordinating conjunctions that you can use in your compound sentences. So as you can see on the slides, independent clause plus independent clause plus a coordinating conjunction. So basically a simple sentence, a coordinating conjunction, and another simple sentence. So here are our simple sentences from the previous slide. Now what we need to do, we need to join the compound sentences together with a coordinating conjunction. So I choose but, and it's as simple as this. Adam ate his dinner, but Melanie went to the shop. You've taken 2 simple sentences and you've made a compound sentence, thus giving your sentences variety. The door swung open, Aidan tried on new clothes, can become the door swung open, yet Aidan tried on new clothes. This is how you do it. This is the best cheat when it comes to varying your sentences. Use simple sometimes, and sometimes join simple sentences together so you can get compound sentences. Let's now look at a IELTS Academic Writing Task 1 example from before. We had the bar graph shows data from the UK. The pie chart shows data from the Philippines. You can make that a compound sentence by just adding the coordinating conjunction from the fanboys and. The percentage went up the following year. India's population has declined. Two simple sentences. If we add for, it makes it a compound sentence. So it now says the percentage went up for the following year, for India's population has declined. Now, again, I want you to really remember fanboys and study the chart before your exam and practice using simple sentences with fanboys to make compound sentences. We've arrived at complex sentences. Don't worry, you've come this far. I'm going to try and make it as simple and as actionable as possible. The first thing you need to know about a complex sentence is the structure. You need to know it's built up of an independent clause, which you should be familiar with now. It's basically a simple sentence, but we add something to it, and we call that a dependent clause. Now, a dependent clause on its own is not a complete thought. Okay. Now, the other thing we need to add is a subordinator, and these are, there's no acronym like fanboys, but it's after, although, as, because, before, how, and if. So you can either use a subordinator as the plus, or you could use a relative pronoun such as who, whom, where, when, or that. So you choose one of them and you add something, you add a dependent clause. So for example, we use the independent clause, Adam ate his dinner, and we will add a dependent clause, which is who was hungry. Who was hungry is not a complete sentence. It doesn't make sense on its own, and it's not a full thought. Okay, so it's a dependent clause. So the way we do this is we add it as extra information, okay, with the relative pronoun. So it now says Adam, who was hungry, ate his dinner. And now the sentence is a complex one that makes sense. Let's try and do that with a subordinator instead. We could say Adam ate his dinner because he was hungry. Now again, because he was hungry on its own doesn't make sense. So that's what makes it a complex sentence. Not a complete thought added to a simple sentence. So Adam ate his dinner because he was hungry is a complex sentence. Or Adam, who was hungry, ate his dinner. It's just a way of adding extra information. So let's have a look at some examples from the IELTS Academic Writing Task. The independent clause, or the simple sentence we used, was the building was developed in 2010. So if we want to add the extra information, which is falling apart, this is a relative pronoun, a dependent clause. So to mix that together, we could say the building, which is falling apart, was developed in 2010. So you can see how it adds information and makes your writing more varied. Another one could be the building was developed in 2010. Let's try and use a subordinator this time. After the work finally began. So we could put it at the front, in the middle, or the end of a independent clause. So this would look like this. After the work finally began, the building was developed in 2010. Thank you very much. If you're still interested in the academic writing task, check out these two videos, and I hope you enjoy them, and I hope to see you again soon.